There we go. All right, good evening. It's 6 p.m., January 23rd, 2019. I'd like to open the Zoning Board of Appeals meeting for this evening. I'd like to announce that the meeting is being televised live on local Mashpee TV. So next, if we could rise, we could say the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, next, does anybody have a public comment regarding anything not related to any of tonight's agendas? If so, sign in with Mary Ann, and you have 3 minutes to make your comment.
My name is Matthew Hayden, I'm a trustee of Gooseberry Island Trust. Two things. I have a open meeting law complaint for the chairman.
Okay.
And the second item is, it's my understanding, I see on the agenda, you're going to be going into executive session. I just want to have a point of order. Under the statute, open meeting law statute.
They can't hear you.
Need to speak into the mic.
Is it, I can pick this up, right?
Sure.
Yep.
I don't know if it works.
Actually, why don't I save you a little time? We're not going to go into executive session tonight.
You're not going to say, okay, I just want to make a statement then at least.
Sure.
Okay. Let's see if this works. Pursuant to the statute, you can only go into executive session to discuss strategy with respect to litigation only if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the litigation position of the public body. So the key here is the position having an open meeting has to have a detrimental effect. So in other words, if you're discussing something in executive session and it doesn't have a detrimental effect in an open meeting, and you can't bring it to an executive session. So I think the discussion should really be an open meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Mary Ann, I'll pass that to you so you can. Yeah, we can stamp it as received and we'll pass it right up the chain.
Just sign it in.
I think we're good. Okay, so where am I going next? Okay. All right, next on our agenda, well, actually I just told him, but next on our agenda is a placeholder to enter into executive session. I'm not going to entertain a motion tonight to go into executive session at the advice of town council because it is not needed at this time. Okay, sitting on our first hearing will be our 5 regular board members. And I'm going to move the order by one hearing tonight and place 23 Halyard Lane first because of a time conflict request by Steve Cook, who is representing Halyard Lane. So if, Sharon, would you read Halyard Lane first, and then we'll go back to our regular order.
23 Halyard Lane. Owners Joseph Quarella and Kristen Quarella request a written finding under 174-17 of the zoning bylaws to allow for the construction of an addition extension of a pre-existing non-conforming structure on property located in an R3 zoning district, map 105, parcel 178, Mashpee, Mass.
Hi.
Great. Good evening. Steve Cook from Katuah Bay Design, representing Joe and Kristen Corella, and thank you very much for accommodating me tonight. Joe and Chris are looking to construct an addition on the rear of their house. The lot contains 15,616 square feet. It's a different shaped angle lot, and the house is angled to the property lines. So the front of the house is 37.8 feet off the front property line, which makes it pre-existing non-conforming. That's the reason that we're here tonight. The addition meets all of the bylaw requirements. We're 18.2 feet off the west property line, and then the existing house right now is 17.1 off the east and 28.3 feet off the north property line. Existing lot coverage right now is slightly under 10%. We're going to 14%. So pretty simple addition. And we've gained the ARC approval from the Peninsula Council for this project. So with that, I'll take any questions from the board.
So you're not introducing any new nonconformities?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Any questions by anybody before we read in some comments? Okay. Sharon, what do you have for comments? Anything?
I have inspections, 23 Hayyard Lane. The area is zone R3 and is in a pre-contact archaeological sensitivity area listed as high. The applicant is seeking a written finding under 174-17 of the zoning bylaws to allow for an addition and extension to be built. The board will have to determine if the addition will make this more non-conforming or not. I have,
Board of Health.
no,
All right, 23 Halyard Lane. Owners Joseph, is it Quarella?
Correct.
And Kristen Corella request a written finding under 174-17 of the zoning bylaws to allow for construction of an addition, extension of a pre-existing non-conforming structure. Property located R3 zoning district, map 105, parcel 178, Mashpee, Mass. Board of Health comments say septic okay for 3 bedrooms. Floor plan revised and is acceptable. Current septic inspection on file for change in footprint.
conservation, not wetlands jurisdiction.
Is that it for comments?
Yeah, I think so.
Good question, please.
Steve, did you put the revision date and what you revised for the Board of Health in this plan?
I can't remember what I did, what's the,
11/26 is
It's the date, but no revision. I
Yeah,
just want to make
that-
sure that the plan that the Board of Health has approved as revised is the plan that we have.
I believe that's the same plan. I don't think I've changed it since then.
what did you have
It
to
doesn't
change for them?
I
You didn't,
Didn't-
What I like
uh,
to do is so Board of Health and then a revision, you put a revision date for Board of Health request, and
As far as I know, we didn't do any revisions.
Yeah,
to
it
the plan.
doesn't say revised, it says reviewed.
Review.
oh, I think you said,
so you
I
He
heard one
said
revised.
revised, it says reviewed.
never mind.
Never mind.
You said revised.
I know, you did, yeah. That's,
And I look for revision in the plan.
It says reviewed.
All right, fearless leader, you're
Any
okay. You can do no
further
wrong.
comments? Anybody in the audience? Questions, comments, concerns, anybody? Would you like to make a motion, Ron?
I would love to make a motion. I'd like to make a motion that we issue a written finding to Joseph Corella and Christine Corella of 23 Halyard Lane under section 174-70 of the zoning bylaws to allow for construction of an addition, extension of pre-existing non-conforming structure on property located in R3 zoning district, map 105, parcel 178, Mashpee, Mass, with the following conditions. The board has determined the applicant meets all the conditions of written finding on Mass General Laws 48, section 6. Number 2, make reference to the plot plan. Proposed addition prepared for Joe Corella at 23 Halyard Lane, Mashpee, Mass. Prepared by BSS Design Engineering and Surveying, scale 1 inch equals 20 feet, dated December 17, 2018, drawn by MRT, checked by TB, job number 15217, drawing number P23-110, signed by Thomas Jackson Bunker, number 32653. Reference is made to house plan, new addition remodeling for Corella Residence, 23 Halyard Lane, Mashpee, Mass, prepared by Katuah Design, Bay Design, LLC. A1, first floor plan. A2, front elevation and second floor plan. A3, rear elevation, right elevation, and left elevation. Scale 1/4 equals 1 foot. 1/4 equals 1 inch, sorry, that's what it's, 1 foot 0 inch. Date 11/26/2018. Also conditioned upon all town department comments being read into the record. And that's it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Good luck.
great, thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Hope your cold gets better.
Yeah, thank you.
you're out. You get to
I'm no
read, though.
good. I get to read, I know.
6 signatures on
Come
this?
in these 2 days.
I see 6.
We got enough signatures on it?
Might be 6. Could be
I
wrong.
don't think so.
I don't get to sign, right?
She doesn't have to.
No, my point is there 6 on there?
No.
I just saw it quickly, I thought it was 6.
But everybody's name's on it.
Second time in 5 minutes?
No, it's someone,
When someone's absent,
Crosses out.
crossed out, so there's no confusion. when
oh,
I got
Yeah,
it.
because in the past, what happens when they cross it out, someone was.
Someone signs on the wrong line.
oh.
We're doing this for a while.
Well, I never noticed, I just sign where I'm asked to sign, I never noticed what he does.
All right. Sharon, would you read the first continued hearing?
345 Monomoskoye Road, owners Carl and Kristen Carvosa request a special permit under 174.25.I, parentheses 9, of the zoning bylaws to allow for the reconstruction of a dock, pier, ramp, and float on property located in an R3 zoning district, map 120, parcel 24, Mashpee, Mass.
Hi.
Hello, good evening. My name is Ken Breivogel. I'm with the firm of Jack Landis Colley. We're representing the applicant, Mr. Cavosa, requesting a special permit for a dock. We were here 2 weeks ago, and this was continued to today for an opportunity for the shellfish warden and the harbor master to submit written comments about the project. The shellfish warden did submit a letter. In the letter, she states that the revised plan made revisions suggested by the shellfish warden by removing 4 pilings. The shellfish warden also submitted a mitigation calculation sheet to which Mr. Cavosa agrees and he's willing to pay the amounts requested, $846. So I take the letter as, her letter as an approval of the project. The harbor master also submitted a letter. He didn't make any comment, so I don't know how to, other than it's a no comment letter, state further about the harbor master. I would say, comment about the bylaw. The bylaw provides that if the shellfish warden or the harbor master fails to make any comment, the board can take it as an approval of the project. So I'm going to suggest or request that the board approve the dock as applied for.
Okay, well, we certainly got the letter from Ashley Fisher, and it's exactly what she says. It's a 4-pager, and she's agreed to all of it, and I guess you have also on the very last page, right down the bottom, $846. So it looks like she's all set. But we've got something from the harbor master, which is a little disturbing, to be honest with you. And I was hoping maybe you could shed some light, because I don't have any information yet from him. This is an email dated Thursday, January 17th. It's from John J. Santangelo to Marianne Romero. And it's regarding ZBA comments, dock project at 345 Monomoskoye Road. Marianne, I'm looking into some issues regarding the dock project on 345 Monomoskoye Road, and will not be able to submit any comments at this time. What's the story?
I'm not sure what he means. I wish he had stated specifically what he was looking into.
You have no idea?
What I think he may have been talking about is the dock to the north that Mr. Luckraft said was too long, too far out. And so there is an issue about that dock, the Simmons dock.
Okay.
How does that issue affect your application?
Just so,
For the record,
for the record, my name's Carl Cavosa.
okay.
The only reason I'm here is because my dock is 79 feet. So my,
You need to bring the mic
Mr. Cavosa. Thank you.
So my dock comes out 48 feet, 16-foot ramp, and a 16-foot float. My dock was approved by Conservation. I was told to go ahead and build my dock, and I was all set. I went to go ahead and build my dock and license my dock through Chapter 91, and they said, no, you got to go to the building department, your dock is too long. And I said, no, the building department signed off on my dock. Nope, that was a mistake. You have to go to the ZBA, your dock's too long. So my engineer said to me, why don't we just shorten the ramp and you'll be under the 70 foot? And I said, my dock's been approved. Why don't I just go to the ZBA and say, here's my dock, I've been approved. I don't see an issue with it. It seems reasonable. I thought this would be a very fairly simple project to come here and do this. Now, again, my neighbors put up he's not happy with it. I understand it. Everybody's a relative to their own opinions. But I've been approved through Conservation. I've got my permit. I can go build my dock. I can, respectfully request to remove my project from this and go build it the way it is. And I don't
Being
think,
shorter, then you wouldn't have to worry about it.
yeah, all I have to do is shorten my ramp. I don't have to come out of the waterway.
Although it's got to be less than 70, correct?
Yeah, so I have to shorten my ramp by 9 feet. And I'm not trying to play hardball with anybody. Originally, my dock was different. And at the Conservation Board, I listened to the harbor master, I listened to the shellfish warden, and we went back and redrew the dock and changed it and ultimately gained approval at the Conservation Department. I understand my neighbor's not happy with it. There's not a lot I can do. I can't make everybody happy. I'm trying to do what I'm trying to do. on
There's
my
only two
property.
people you really have to make happy.
Yeah, my wife.
Shellfish. Well, that's a third
That's the
person.
third one. Maybe there's three.
Shellfish and harbor master. They both have to be
Do
happy.
we have any letters from the abutter?
Read into the record last time.
Last time.
Last
Okay, I
time.
wasn't here.
Yeah, you weren't here. So, if I recall correctly, they drew a line between the dock to the south of you and the dock to the north of you,
That's correct.
and you went right to that line. Everybody was happy.
Right.
But now, as you say, and this is news to me, because I didn't know what it was, there appears that maybe one of these docks is not legal?
No, they all have certificates of inspection. They've all been approved, and they've both been Chapter 91 licensed. So if there's something that's been done illegally, it's not to my knowledge. I have no knowledge of that. Alls I'm trying to do for the past year and a half is build my dock based on what has been submitted to this board, what's been approved by Conservation, and that's where I'm at.
If there's
So-
an issue with an abutter's dock, why would that affect his dock?
Because it's such a narrow area see, you missed the entire first
I
one.
did.
So,
I think the
It's no more narrow than
I've
other
been up and down
areas.
that river. I know exactly the location.
so do I.
I don't see it as an
I think
issue.
the
but-
problem we've got, though, is, and I wish there was a way to get around it, is that if the harbor master did not say anything, as your engineer states, we could possibly move forward because he remained silent, and you've got almost an opinion, we can move forward because now he's speaking up saying, I've got a possible issue.
He's got issues.
And then, so, as a board, we've historically relied on those two people, and if they say yay, we say yay, because their ability is far, if you tell me how to drive a truck, I listen.
Right.
Because, I don't. And so, I listen to the professionals, and this board is not, and if Shellfish and Harbor Master, they say yay, we historically say yay.
I mean,
But
it's
we
a-
got one of them sitting there saying, problem, question.
It's unfortunate. It was 6 days ago he made the comment.
I mean, it's.
And he had plenty of time.
Well, I can't help that.
I know.
Yeah.
It's just, I
it's
feel
nobody's-
bad, I feel bad he's getting held up for
You
this.
see the
Scott,
quandary we're in?
Right,
We don't
one of
know.
one of the problems that I have with the shellfish issue is, I mean, with the harbor master, and, you know, I understand he's busy. He's had a year and a half. This isn't new. This
Well,
is something.
he's brand new.
He's not, yeah.
I understand that, but, you know, that's not my fault. And the old harbor master was happy when we left the last meeting. My dock was approved by conservation. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been approved by conservation.
Actually, I don't think the old
That's not
harbor
what we read
master-
in.
The old harbor master
It
was not happy.
Not at the first meeting when he submitted the letter, but at the second meeting when all the revisions were done, I stood out there with him and revised the plan with the shellfish warden. That's why the plan was revised. Unfortunately, neither one of them ever read into the record another letter. And that's where we're at. The letters that you read in were the initial letters before any revisions were done on my dock.
Okay, that's all I had to go on.
Because that's, you're reading in a letter from a harbor master that's not even the harbor master. Right? Yeah.
This guy, yeah, John Santangelo.
No,
is
the original letter that you read,
Okay.
the guy's not even the harbor master.
Right, but he doesn't count anymore. That's, it's all
What
about
you're-
this guy
What
now.
you're just saying, and she just pointed out, was he wasn't happy. And what I'm trying to tell you is, the first meeting, he was not happy.
All right. You know what?
We revised the
That's-
plan to make them happy. That's why we got the approval.
That's fine, but he's not the harbor master anymore.
I get it.
Mike, do you have any comments on this?
Oh, this is outside my world.
Okay.
Oh, all of a
You're
sudden,
closer than I am.
outside of your
You have a
world.
boat. I watch it from the shore.
Yeah, great.
All right, I'm going to recommend we continue this again until we get this correct. Because there's an issue here, and he's put it in writing. And again, I'm looking at some issues regarding the dock project.
You can't do a contingency?
If I could interject for a second, I believe the abutter's here. Might make sense to hear from the abutter, because maybe
Why not?
what we hear from the abutter as a board, we may not agree with.
All right, is there anything new you could add to it?
Well, maybe it'll,
All right,
Let's shed some light.
yeah,
least have to-
grab the
Yeah, oh,
mic.
yeah, absolutely.
right?
I'm curious.
Hi, my name is Bob Luckraft, 33 Riverside Road. There was two meetings with the Conservation Commission. The first one was on March 8th, and, of last year. And at that time, the harbor master submitted the letter which you have in the records. I'll quickly read it. I have carefully reviewed the plans for the proposed dock, ramp, and float at 345 One Muscoy Road. Furthermore, I visited the location by boat and observed the proposed site in person. The proposed dock is close in proximity to the Little River Marina, more specifically, the fuel dock.
Read into the record already. Do we have to listen to this again?
Please let him, don't interrupt.
Thank you, sir. This area, excuse me, the proposed dock is close in proximity to Little River Marina, more specifically, the fuel dock owned by and operated by the marina. This area becomes congested in the summer months with boat traffic traffic waiting to fuel their vessels. Adding to the congestion is the vessel traffic transiting Little River, traveling from Hamlin Pond towards Wacoit Bay. There has been opposition from neighbors, both written and verbal, concerning the distance of the proposed dock will extend into the river. It is my opinion, based on the current plans, the dock will extend too far into the Little River and will impede the safe navigation of vessel traffic. I feel the revised drawing is the most plausible solution to the concern that I have with the proposal. Removing the highlighted portion of the drawing will move the dock in approximately 10 feet and will coincide with the recommendation of the Shellfish Constable to have several pilings removed.
All right. That, you already said that.
Okay.
So
No,
what do you have that's new?
Okay, the Waterways Commission was set to meet the Tuesday after. They meet, the Waterway Commission
No, I'm
meets
talking
every
about
Tuesday.
the last 2 weeks.
Huh? Well,
Anything to add?
Oh, yes.
That's happened in the last 2 weeks, because that's what I want to hear.
here are the minutes from the Waterway Commission that met.
Give them a copy, too.
I will. Unfortunately, the Waterways Commission couldn't meet that day.
All right, save me a lot of time. What does it say?
This is in April.
What's the bottom line here?
Okay, the bottom line is that the Waterways Commission met after this revised plan was approved by the Conservation Commission, who would not listen to any issues because we discussed this last
But
meeting.
this
They-
is
April.
April.
This is
He's
April
saying something
2018.
new, which
Right.
happened in the last couple of weeks or month.
Right.
Yeah, I don't wanna
They,
see it. I don't wanna
the,
read this.
the Tuesday that they were supposed to meet, in between the extension, when this revised plan was meet, there was that big snowstorm that we had. We had trees down all over the place. We lost the power.
When did that happen, sir?
The first meeting of Conservation was on the 8th. The Waterways
month and
Commission
what
was
year?
going to meet of March of 2018.
Right, we're in February of 2019. That's old news.
Yeah, we already know all this.
We all know,
What
we know
happened
this, we've read this,
in the
we know
last
this.
2 weeks?
Okay, the Waterway Commission met after this
last 2 weeks?
revised. Not in the last 2 weeks, but this is the plan that he's saying that the harbor master didn't have any issues with it. And you will see, if you read the Waterways Commission findings, that they said that the Cavosa Dock replacement plan approval, the Mashpee Waterways Commission revised the plan and discussed same, noting that the new float dock extends too far into the Little River.
If I could just ask
restricting
this
the
question,
space.
if I may, Mr. Chairman. What is your specific, as an abutter, I presume you're an abutter,
Right.
what is your specific concern with Mr. Cavosa's as designed on that plan dock?
That as it is right now,
On that
his
plan.
dock, his licensed dock, his existing
I'm
licensed dock.
talking about that
this
plan, what
revised-
he'd like to do.
He's coming in an additional 9 to 10 feet. That's going to reduce the distance.
Further out into the
of-
water.
Huh?
Is that what you mean?
He's coming.
Further out into the water,
He's
correct?
coming out further into the
Okay.
water. He's going to take an existing problem where boats going to the gas dock, there's, all the boats, it's not just me that's having issues with this dock. The other neighbors were here last meeting, but they didn't have an opportunity to talk because we got extended. But the-
Why wouldn't they be back tonight?
well, because it's very
that
difficult
doesn't
being in front of this board.
Did you just say it's difficult being in front of this board?
It's, for them, it's very difficult for them to be in front of the board.
We invite all input.
I understand that, but it's,
Very
you know,
important.
it's very difficult for me to talk, and I'm trying to present my case, and basically, I have no problem with Mr. Cavosa making a larger dock. The problem is right now, his dock and my dock are the closest ones on the river in an area where the current is very strong, and we have people coming in to get gas.
Would
in
his
this-
dock go out further than your dock?
His dock is going to is going to squeeze the river tighter.
I'm asking the question, does your dock go out as far as his dock would go out if we approve this plan?
I have an existing licensed dock.
I
I'm not
understand
moving
that. My
dock.
question is your existing licensed dock, distance out, would Mr. Cavosa's go out as far or further than your dock?
No, my dock is right up against the edge of the river. He's bringing his dock out into the river because he wants to,
appear
be
to.
able to put deep draft vessels in.
All right, you know what?
I'm looking at
doesn't
both of
appear-
you,
We're just
seems
gonna
like you're
continue
about the
this.
same.
You know what? It doesn't matter. We're gonna continue this. Please, go ahead. Grab the mic. Grab the mic.
Please.
You can take it out of the holder, by the way.
The dock to the north that's in question here is a licensed dock that's been in existence since 2001. It's on an instrument survey in 2004, 2008. There's 3 separate instrument surveys of this dock in existence. So the dock that's in question, the harbor master, if there's something that this gentleman did wrong, if his float's too big or something's wrong there, I'm not aware of that. But this dock has never been an issue for the harbor master. It's never been in an accident that I know of. Never, the harbor master's never had an issue with it. That's been there since
The
2004.
reason why you're saying that, correct me if I'm wrong, is that dock goes out not as far as your dock will go out.
My dock, what the standard is to go from your neighbor's dock to your neighbor's dock, and this line.
That's why I was asking him that question.
Correct. So then what happens is I come out to that line, and that's what the standard is. His dock is here. It's not up against the edge of the river. It extends out into the
So
river,
you're saying,
into
correct me if
deeper
I'm wrong,
water.
that the dock next to your dock you would not go out any further than that dock that exists today?
Neither one of them, on either side.
Can you just
Ron, that
clarify one
doesn't
thing for me?
Sure.
Mr. Cabosa?
What matters
Three
is
docks across the river.
Yes.
None of those are
This is
Little Rivers
all-
docks, are they?
No, sir. Little River's dock is down here.
I just wanted to clarify that.
I've never had anybody queue up in front of my house in the 2 years that I've been there for fuel. I'm too far down the dock, the river.
Thank you. Hold on one sec, if you would.
Sorry, my mic's not working. I want to be clear. The issue right now that the board has is regarding the harbor master.
Right.
What is concerned?
So,
Well, if the harbor master just came out and said, it made no comment, we may be able to. we may be-
Correct.
But he made a comment that says, I have some possible issues. That creates an issue, that has a problem. That creates a question for us.
I guess where I'm going with this is just so you know, I don't get the vote, which is great. If they're waiting for something from the harbor master to respond to, you may want to also reach out to him to find out what the issue is, because, and I don't know, we don't know. So I'm not really speaking for the board, but if there is something that the harbor master knows that could affect your situation, you might as well know that beforehand instead of this board reading a letter to drop it on your lap.
One of the things I want you guys to understand is, my dock is approved.
You might need the mic.
We're not disagreeing on that.
Okay,
end.
so when the harbor master can come back here and say, oh my God, he extends too far out into the river.
But when you
I'm
want-
going to then respectfully request to withdraw my proposal to build the dock. And I'm gonna walk out of here, my dock's been approved. The only reason I'm here is because the length is 79 feet. Now what we're trying to do is revisit an issue that he has to pull me back out of the river, out of deep water, which the shellfish warden wants me in.
All I'm saying is this: by looking at what appears to be the direction, is they're going to want to hear what the harbor master has to say. And my thing is that one of the two of you, whoever, have to be in contact with the harbor master to find out. The big $100 question is, what is it you're going to find that's going to affect your project? Because that's really what the question's going to come back here to.
Instead of finding out at the meeting.
So, right, you don't want to find out if this gets continued at that hearing, then you've got to.
I've already met with the harbor master.
I'm just saying, but until that letter comes here saying, the problem is we don't like the color. The color purple is horrible. At least now you know, and you know how to answer. I'm just trying to help you here, how to prepare. Because the thing is, I don't think we want to keep doing this, keep chasing our tails in a way.
Well, I've been doing it for 2 years, I know. I wanted to just move my dock.
Right. It's wasting everybody's time.
Absolutely.
All we gotta do, make this guy happy. I don't know what his issue is. You guys can resolve it, I hope.
I'd like to request to respectfully withdraw my application to the zoning board of appeals for a dock permit. That's what I'd like to do. I'm just gonna go build my dock because I have the permit. I'm just gonna shorten the ramp so I don't go
He needs
to
the mic.
ZBA. I'd like to, Mr. Furbish, I'd like to respectfully withdraw my permit, my application to the zoning board of appeals. I will shorten my ramp, so the building department is then happy with my dock. My ramp will be a little bit steeper, my neighbor will be happy, I'll be happy, and we can just build the dock.
If you want to do that, I'll make the motion. It's up to you.
I'd like to do that, Mr. Goldstein. I think, I don't want to fight with my neighbor anymore, and, Mr. Bondi, I'm sorry.
No problem, no
I don't
problem.
wanna fight with
I'm just
Actually,
following
he's
your
very
guide.
offended.
my- You're more handsome than me.
I have a heck of a lot more hair, don't I?
And like I said, I think.
You know,
for
we're,
me-
we're only talking 2 weeks here.
Right, but for me.
Are you gonna do anything in the next 2
The
weeks?
size of the ramp, fighting with my neighbor, I'll just go build my
But
dog.
one thing, where we don't want it, no, go ahead. Say.
I was just going to say, you might want to rescind that request for 2 weeks and then make that request in 2 weeks.
What I'm afraid of is that the harbor master, I don't know the harbor master. I know my neighbor knew the old harbor master. That's why I got this letter. And, you know, like I said, that dock's been there since 2004.
I know.
And there's never been an issue. I didn't decide where to put my dog. Chapter 91 says, here's your neighbor, draw a line, that's where you can go to. So that's where they drew my dog. I didn't say, oh, this is where I want to be, I want to go out all the way across the river. I wanted to go out into deeper water. The shellfish warden had input, the harbor master had input, and my engineers had input, based on chapter 91. Not on where my neighbors wanted me to go.
One thing I think is important, though, that we need to say, though, also is, he could come back in 2 weeks and not have the shellfish ward, the harbor master happy, and we may be in the same position. I think there's two sides to
You
that
can
statement.
always
Withdraw then.
withdraw then. I mean,
I think
you've been doing this
it's
for a
important
long
to
time.
understand, you could not withdraw now, come back in 2 weeks and be in the same place you're in today.
And withdraw
Or
then.
you could not
Or-
withdraw now, come back in 2 weeks and
And the
possibly
harbor
get the
master
approval.
gets approval,
I just don't want him
and
to
then you
think
don't
that
have
in
to
2
do
weeks
anything.
you got a clear cut, because this board historically is relied heavily on the harbor master. And if he
As
said
well as the
nothing, That would
shellfish.
be one thing. But he said something, and something is given us concern, right? So,
Okay, so maybe we'll wait the 2 weeks.
So we'll continue it to,
and please, hopefully you can get together with him, and he can give us a
Straighten it
letter
out.
that gives us some.
He's very, there was a letter written by the old harbor master, he's new, so he wanted to look into all the issues. Obviously, the neighbor's upset, that's what he's looking into.
As
So-
one member, if the letter from the harbor master says he's okay with that application, as one member, I would be in favor of your application as one member.
Thank you.
If the harbor master says no comment, will you take that?
we're gonna ask him to comment.
We're going to ask.
We're gonna ask him to comment one way or the other.
He's had 2 opportunities already to make a comment. Both times it's-
I'm gonna tell you how and I'm gonna go out on the limb here, I'm gonna go out on the limb here, and if the harbor master rescinds and says, you know what, I have no further comment, as one member, I'd be in favor of it. Period, as one member. Because you know why? Because that tells me he thought about the issue, and he said, you know what? No comment, I'm set, because he raised it, and if this is what he's raising, and I believe you're telling the truth, that being the fact, if he's now gonna not comment, we've had other applications where we've had no comment from the harbor master and
Correct.
approved. If he gets back to the point, says no comment, and I will not comment, I, as one member, will vote in favor of it.
So you want to request a 2-week continuance?
Yeah,
Okay,
I
so
mean,
request-
I think they have to do that, right?
Well, no, you'd have to, I'll make a motion, so.
What's the date, Mary Ann? Do we have it?
February 13th.
Ooh, good one.
What's right in front of me?
February
Not
13th.
February.
You sure?
Valentine's Day?
Okay.
No, that's the next day.
So why don't I'd like to make a motion that we accept the applicant's request for an extension until February 13th, and that is 345 Monomoskoye Road. Carl and Christine Cavosa in reference to special permit under 175-25 I-9 of zoning bylaw for construction of pier, ramp, and float property located R3 zoning district, map 120, parcel 24, Mashpee, Mass.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very
All
much.
right, see if you can get it straightened out.
The other thing we could do.
Here you go.
Prove it condition
Another
of the
difference.
harbor master's.
Yeah, I brought that.
All right, so you want to keep all.
Agreed.
Can we get all
And
this
that's
stuff
why I made
back?
the
Because
statement.
we're going to need it for the next
Right?
hearing.
That's exactly
Thank you.
why.
No, I have that.
I think this is already something there.
All right, Sharon, would you read the next continued
You
hearing?
want these?
Next continued hearing, okay, hang on.
Oh, actually,
Got
hold
it.
on there.
317 Great Neck Road North. Owners James and Nancy Mayu request a special permit under 174-45.4 of the zoning bylaws to allow for an accessory apartment on property located in an R5 zoning district, map 52, parcel 20, Mashpee, Mass.
Hi,
Good evening.
and for the record, your name is?
Nancy and James Mayer.
Nancy and James Mayer.
Okay. And you're the owners of the project, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So if you would, I know you met with the building commissioner, and how did that go?
Good?
Pull the mic right over.
I'm
and-
sorry, good. He measured the building, and I took some pictures to show you how the spacing is in there, because it's kind of tight. We also had we proposed 2 renovations to kill the third bedroom. My son also suggested another suggestion, to take the rug out of the third room, get rid of the closet, and make it into a work area, but I don't think that can
Storage
happen.
area?
Right.
Well, it's gonna be like a workbench and so forth, and everything was gonna be, is it still, so, okay, then.
Something you'd find in
That's
the
fine.
cellar.
Okay.
That's fine,
I
but
think hearing from the building commissioner is probably gonna help a lot here.
you can have both of them.
Mike, would you like to pass out those, and
Oh, yes,
we'll take a look while you're explaining.
so, this shot here, the first one I'm giving you, is standing at one of the egress doors. There's only 2 ways in and out of this location. Now, just to let you know, where I'm standing, perspective to this image,
Yeah.
is one set of doors. Where you see this other little blue light area, that's the second means of egress. So where I'm standing is right here, looking down this
So
hall.
you're here looking like that,
Right.
Okay.
okay?
Got it.
So these next shots here show the bedrooms, which from the perspective of the diagram is on your left-hand side.
Yep. Okay, floor. The old days.
Drop ceiling. Is this a basement?
Yes.
Okay.
Just to let you know, bring up to speed, Scott, seeing that you weren't here, this is pre-existing, it's finished. These people used to be tenants there, and correct me if I'm wrong with this information, they bought the building.
Okay.
So now they're living upstairs, and they would like to rent it out to the son. They found out recently, they didn't realize that the apartment they were living in for, how many years?
7, I think.
7 years.
Was illegal.
Since 2005, they didn't know it was illegal.
I mean, the mother-in-law apartment, yeah.
You're right.
In-law apartment.
So
14 years.
they're here to do the right thing,
Yep.
to legalize it.
Now I'm getting caught up.
Okay, now, this next picture is being taken from the opposite end of
Looking
the
that way?
hall, of the room, showing
Looking
where I
the
was
other way.
standing before.
This way.
Looking the other way.
Correct.
The hot water heater area.
Right,
Yep.
You've got the egress they need?
yes, they just have 2.
Okay.
You see in,
from here.
you're gonna see one there, and in the other photo on the side, like I said, this, where it's like here, that's because there's a door there. It's a little alcove.
It's right here.
No, that door is,
So we're right here to
Here
there.
somewhere.
The doors are at the end, is that correct?
no, the double here, and you got the door right
Double
there.
door there.
Okay.
It's right there.
You've obviously walked through the project, so.
Oh, yes.
So that part's
I
all
spent a good 45 minutes there.
good. Okay. Perfect.
Now, this picture here is when you turn the image having the hot water heater facing you. This actually takes a left-hand turn, so it's a dead end.
There's no stairs going up, none of that. So what's down at that end is basically is a double-stacked washer on your right, and then straight ahead of you is the bathroom. That's it. That's all there
You
is to
can't get
it.
upstairs, you have to go outside
Yes.
to get upstairs.
Right.
Is there anything about, in the bylaw that you have to have the connection?
I thought there was, but
But this is
Mother-in-law.
existing, it's old, yeah.
this says special permit, Mike. I thought, is that what they're really seeking, a special permit?
Well, yeah, they were going for a special permit for the in-law apartment.
I see.
Or the accessory apartment, I should say. So there was a lot of questions about size and what was in there. So the board had asked me, or should ask them to set up an appointment with me so I can go down and take a look. So I went out there and basically the building is 24 by 46 times 2 comes out to 2,208 square feet. 40% of that is 883.2 square feet. So right now, down below is over by 220.8 square feet. We talked about, I kind of got ahead of myself here. Under the bylaw, you're only allowed 2 bedrooms. So you got 3. So I talked with the owners, came up with a plan at the time. There was 2 options which I brought before the health agent, and I believe you've got a recent letter to that effect. Either that they remove the wall between the 2 bedrooms, make it 1, or they make a 6-foot opening, you know,
Yeah.
to make it the same deal.
Which is what they said prior conversation.
Correct, but as we're saying is, we've got a problem here on the 40%.
40%. That's
So-
the real issue.
Right. Well, besides the fact of making it a special permit. Now, if, as her son has brought up, that if they turn one of the bedrooms instead into a storage area, then that's a big chunk of that pie that'll
That would
disappear.
have to be unfinished to make it a storage area. You can't just make it.
Well, it could be a
How-
6-foot wide opening.
As long as it's a 6-foot wide
Right.
opening, it's, what's it, you know, that's.
So
what you call
I
it,
guess the
anything
way to
else.
say it is, as long as it meets the Board of Health guidelines,
Board of
it's
Health
not a
is gonna
bedroom.
just
Right.
say Storage or
So
office.
how do we get these people back, get them in compliance?
Well, then the question comes down to is where they feel comfortable about, you know, putting a 6-foot opening on the middle bedroom, the one in the back, the one in the front. Where's your comfort level? That's really what they want to hear at this point.
As we showed in the picture, the very last bedroom closest to the furnace would be the one that would be most convenient.
Is that the one next to the bedroom? Bathroom, excuse me?
Yes, the one very next to the bathroom.
Okay, I'm just. So if they put, so that bedroom, they put a 6-foot, well, if they made it in compliance of the Board of Health meaning not a bedroom, does that then satisfy your needs to make that, to satisfy their needs?
Yes, it would, because it'd be listed as storage, which is separate.
And which specific bedroom is that? This one right here, the 6'6" by 7'11", this one here?
Yes, that's the one they'll be looking at.
So if that
Oh,
bedroom.
no, this is the one right here.
Right here. So
Yeah.
the one that's 10 foot by 10'5", is that
No,
correct?
that's the dining room.
That says
Yeah, that's
dining
the
room.
one they're gonna turn
Oh,
into a
So
storage.
you're gonna take the dining room that's depicted in this plan, just so, I may have
Well,
to
no,
make
no,
a
no,
motion?
there's,
No. Yeah, it's Plan A, and it's the
Plan A.
dining room they want to turn into
So under Plan A,
storage.
just so I have clarification, under Plan A, which is, it's depicted as a dining room, which is 10 foot by 10'5", if they made that into a.
no,
Okay.
no, you look.
Correct
you'll-
me then.
All right, see, I'm
Plan
sorry.
B?
Here's what, see here?
Yeah.
Right here, you've got, you know, master bedroom, second bedroom.
Yeah.
Third bedroom, right there where your finger is, that's the third bedroom
Yeah,
right
Not a
here.
dining room,
That
it's a
says
bedroom.
Dining room here,
Where?
dining room.
Oh,
See?
that's a typo.
Oh,
okay.
okay. So what, all right, so because someone's gonna have to make a motion, presumably.
That shaded thing's a 6-foot cased open.
Okay.
Right, so, not that I'm representing, I'm just trying to help here. As
Yes,
the
we
board
all wanna help you get
asked
through
me
this.
To get involved. What they were thinking about originally was turning that into a dining room. But once again, we got the square footage issue to contend with. So, changing that, with that proposed dining room into storage room should bring it up to the 40%
So
they're
on
gonna
Plan
need.
A, if the room that's depicted as a dining room, which is dimensions are 10-foot 5 by 10 foot, if that is turned into a, under the guidelines of the Board of Health, a non-bedroom, whichever criteria they want to use.
Office, den.
But, well, the opening, whatever theory the Board of Health wants to use.
Whatever, as long
You're
as-
then satisfied.
Yes, sir.
Are you satisfied with that?
And you don't have any.
I only
issue-
work
I'm gonna
here.
call it a storage.
There's no issue, you have no issue with the way the bylaw reads, you're supposed to have access from one apartment to the other. Because
It's
because
pre-existing. Scott,
Okay.
I agree what you're saying.
Yeah.
If it was something that was being proposed,
We'd never approve it.
right, it was something that was under construction, we can make the modifications. But this is all existing. It's like walking into a finished house.
Is it-
So
I
now
just
what are we
wanted to-
going to do?
I
Are we
wanted
going to
to
start
put that out
tearing
there
walls?
because
In your
out,
opinion,
ceilings?
he needs a special permit or variance?
In this case, it's going to be a special permit.
No
Okay.
variance, yeah.
I understand. I just wanted, I don't want them having to come back. You know what I mean?
I just want that to be clear so if it
But
comes
it's
up again with
still,
that whole.
if I understand that, even if you change that into a storeroom, it's still part of the accessory apartment and exceeds 40%.
No, because if you took an existing basement and you section off half of it, you know, where it's like
Storage,
storage in
it
the other
doesn't-
half.
He's happy.
No, it's
The
not
building
part of it.
inspector's happy.
It's not the livable
Done that.
space.
That's why I
Fine,
call
we're
it
good.
storage.
Okay.
I'm good.
All right, the only other thing is I would make a condition is that after, if the board feels fit on approving it, that it gets inspected by the fire department to make sure all the proper smoke detectors,
CO2.
Meets
CLTs
their
are all-
criteria in all ways.
there you go.
They'll need they'll need an inspection by the fire department.
Right. Just one for the apartment portion, not the whole house.
Okay. Well, that's up to them.
Well, I'm just
They
saying,
might make them integrate both.
I'll have a conversation. But I'm saying, just for the public
No,
safety
that's-
aspect of it.
Consider
I
it
think that's a
done.
minor,
Yep.
right,
Consider it done.
It'll need an inspection by you too for,
for a CO at the end,
Yeah.
right.
Going to read that floor plan in?
I am going to read a lot of it in, yeah.
We have some comments we have to read. So Sharon, do you want to start on comments?
Inspections,
Right here.
317 Great Neck Road North. The applicant is seeking a special permit under 174-45.4 of the zoning bylaws to allow for an accessory apartment. As we know, what we have here is an existing accessory apartment where the applicant is looking to make legal. My research has shown that this has been pre-existing but never approved by the town of Mashpee. As requested by this board, I have gone to the location to view what the situation was and conducted both a measurement and inspection of the building. This has resulted in the applicant in submitting two different floor plans in which to address the issue on how to reduce the number of bedrooms so as to conform with the bylaw. Both methods have been reviewed by the Board of Health. But the issue that needs to be addressed is that this existing accessory apartment is over the square footage per 174-45.4C. It is over the 40% by 220.8 square feet. Conclusion, the Board of Health has approved either method of how to address the extra bedroom. The existing accessory apartment is over the 40% by 220.8 square feet. Due to the layout of the apartment, to get the unit down by 220.8 square feet, I feel is impractical. It would require a full gutting of the apartment because you would have to redesign the layout to make the 40% requirement work. Any other redesign would look more like voids being created in various rooms, as well as the possibility of affecting the means of egress from the unit. In this case, I would recommend that relief should be granted for this unit regarding the 40% requirement. The apartment itself is in very good condition, and I cannot justify the hardship that the required work would need to be done to make this unit comply. As stated above, the only safe way to meet the 40% would be to fully gut and remodel the entire unit. Sincerely, Michael Mendoza, Building Commissioner.
All right, I have one here from the Board of Health regarding 317 Great Neck Road, and it should say north. Let's see, it's from Glenn E. Harrington, dated Tuesday, January 15th. Hi, Mike. I've reviewed the two options for the lower-level accessory apartment, and both options are acceptable. On option A, if there is a 6-foot opening on the dining room, then that meets our regulation. On option B, if the second bedroom is one big room with a standard door, then that meets our regulation as well. Thanks, Glenn. Let's see. Board of Health says,
What is that for?
okay, well, Board of Health says septic okay for 3 bedrooms, floor plan reviewed and is acceptable. Current septic inspection on file. Change of footprint. Oh, that, I'm sorry, that's 21 Alden. Sorry.
Board of Health is also, you already read it.
Conservation has no comments. Anybody in the audience have any comments, questions, concerns? Do we get everything?
I think so.
We did, I
Okay.
think.
Ron, would you like to make a motion?
More than happy to.
Oh, one thing first. So the special permit lapses upon sale of the property?
Correct.
Which is in the, I don't know if I have to put, that's in the bylaw, I don't, right?
It's in the bylaw, as long as he meets.
So when you sell, if you ever sell this property, the people that buy it need to come back to this board for another approval. It lapses if this board chooses to approve your application right now. I'd like to make a motion that we issue a special permit to James and Nancy Mayo of 317 Great Neck Road North under Section 174, 45, period 4 of the zoning bylaw for an accessory apartment property located in R5 zoning district map 52 parcel 20 Mashpee, Mass. With the following conditions. Board has determined the applicant meets all the conditions of a special permit under Mass General Law 48, Section 9. A floor plan provided by James and Nancy Mayo, 317 Great Neck Road North, Mashpee, Mass, depicting the driveway with the following changes. The floor plan will be Plan A. The depicted dining room is going to will be converted into storage room, which will be non-habitable space, as approved by our zoning enforcement officer as to how it will be created, whether it be opening of a doorway or removing a board or whatever the zoning enforcement officer and Board of Health feels is necessary to make to convert the dining room into storage room, which would be considered non-habitable space, thus bringing it down below the minimum. Also make a condition of all town department comments right on the record, and that the fire department makes an inspection of the dwelling, and you meet any and all requirements of the fire department in reference to prior to occupancy.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Good luck.
All's in your court.
You're all set.
Have fun.
Now you know what to do. All right, let's get rid of Plan B, because that's not part of the deal.
You don't want
So
my
throw
Plan A.
Plan B out.
You don't want my plan A either.
Yeah, mine's all chicken scratch.
You got no Plan As.
You ought to make some copies of Plan As, because we wrote all over them.
Oh, boy.
Billy and I were going back and forth in that conversation.
Sorry.
Oh, boy.
That's all right.
Oh, boy.
We got there.
Oh, what the heck's wrong with this? Uh-huh.
You want to use mine?
Nope, just had to. Thank you.
Thank you.
I get that one all the time. I'm so happy I'm not there. Speedboat. There's a speedboat.
Yes.
We get that.
Good job.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking, I was trying to figure out.
No, you
what
did
to
it.
do with that.
That was a
Like,
great job.
I
Great
was like,
job.
wow.
Well done. right, Sharon, would you read the next new hearing?
21 Kim Path, owners John Henry and Constance M. Henry request a written finding under 174-17 of the zoning bylaws to allow for the construction of a 16 by 20 deck on property located in the Pompanesett Overlay District and R3 zoning district, map 117, parcel 265, Mashpee, Mass.
Hi.
Hi, my name is Mark Clancy. I'm here for the Henrys, and I will be the builder if this is approved.
Okay.
The deck is off the rear of the house. It's about 24 feet from one side and 26 from the other, and 80 plus from the rear. If I can answer any questions about the construction.
Okay. That's what I'm looking for.
Say what?
Lot coverage on here is minimal, I'm
Nine
sure.
and change to 12 and change.
Okay, is it listed on here anywhere?
It's on the application.
Okay. So we should list it on here, shouldn't we, Mike?
Might want to have the applicant just put it on here and initial it.
I think that's a great idea. Maybe
Could I have a second copy, please?
we're gonna steal
Why
that
don't you-
back.
All right, you want to share this?
I'll share with you.
Put on actual and proposed.
Well, if he, I would recommend,
Previous
I would recommend that, yeah, so existing and proposed
There you go.
with a signature and a date, so I can make reference to the date of the, and call it a
revision.
it's not really a revision.
No, it's just a.
But I'll just state in the motion, if we intend to making one, that the applicant has signed the plan as of today's date, clearly depicting the lot coverage. Does that make sense, Mr. Chairman?
Yeah, sorry.
Does this matter that this,
Really, you get in trouble doing that.
does this matter this is an old plan?
Pardon?
As long as it's good.
Well, it's just hand drawn.
Yeah, we've done
It's okay.
that.
Yeah,
We've done
okay.
it on, we've done them without even plot plans before, where they
Okay.
drafted them.
I guess if you do the
Toilet
math.
paper was done.
Calculate correctly then, yeah, all right. Just checking.
Well, the question becomes, so you did the math, sir, as far as lot coverage?
That's correct.
What did you say it was?
9.32 existing to 12.16
Not close enough to
proposed.
worry about.
9.32
Yeah, I'll just make reference to the fact
to
that,
12.1.
Okay.
so,
4-year-old plan.
right up here.
He's done it.
Edit to plan. So your name again, sir?
Mark Clancy,
Spe-
And
Clancy.
do you have a company name?
Clancy and Castano.
And you're out of,
Dennis.
So you, as the applicant's representative, Mark Clancy of Clancy and Castano, today signed the plan clearly depicting lot coverage?
I did.
Okay.
okay. Any issues or questions, anybody?
Nope.
All right, let's read some stuff in. I got Conservation, 23 Kim Path. This has been approved by Conservation Commission.
23 to 21.
It's 21.
21, excuse me. 21. It's 23 Halyard, isn't it?
What's the setback?
Okay. Board of Health has no comment on 21 Kim
We
Path.
don't have measurements? Conservation.
And inspections.
Is this,
The lot lies within the Pompanesett Overlay District and is in a pre-contact archaeologically sensitive area listed as moderate. Do you know what to do on that, if you find anything?
Yes.
Call this guy. All right, so the applicant is seeking a written finding on 174-17 of the zoning bylaws to allow for a 16 by 20 deck to be built. The board will have to determine if the deck will make this more non-conforming or not. Note, this is in the AEEL 12 flood zone and will need to be constructed in accordance with FEMA regulations. But you knew that already,
I
didn't
did.
you? All right. Did we miss any comments? Ron, would you like to make a motion?
I would love to make a motion. I'd like to make a motion that we issue a written finding to John and Constance Henry of 21 Kim Path, for written finding under section 174-17 of zoning bylaws, allow for construction of a 16 by 20 deck on a property located in the Papaneset Overlay District, R3 zoning district, map 117, parcel 265, Mashpee, Mass, with the following conditions. Board has determined the applicant meets all the conditions of written finding under Mass General Law, section 48, section 6. Proposed septic system upgrade plan, 21 Kim Path, Mashpee, Mass, prepared for Brian Smith, 42 Greendale Ave, Needham, Mass, engineering by Engineering Works, Inc., scale 1 inch equals 20 feet, drawn by PTM. Job number 124-15, dated 4/22/15, checked by PTM. Sheet number 1 of 3, signed by Peter T. McKenty. McEntee, registered professional engineer number 35109. Project description, sun deck renovation for John and Constance Henry, 21 Kim Path, Mashpee, Mass, prepared by Clancy and Castano, LLC, P.O. Box 249, South Dennis, Mass, 508-240-440-4, date 11/5/2008, scale, question mark. Do you happen to know what the scale might be?
120
Scale at 1 inch equals 20
feet.
Really? Okay. Sheet A1, rear elevation, left side elevation, right side elevation. Sheet A2, right side elevation, proposed rear elevation, proposed left side elevation, proposed. Sheet A4, deck construction guide. Make also reference to conditions on all town department comments right on the record. I also want to make reference to the site plan today. Mark Clancy added lot coverage. Mark is from the construction company Clancy and Castano, and as of today's date, the lot coverage depicts existing to be
3.2.
and proposed to be,
12.16.
which is in compliance with existing zoning.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Stinks being the last guy.
What's that?
Stinks being the last guy, because you can listen to
No
everybody
audience.
else's.
There you go.
Thanks. Have a good night.
You too.
There's entertainment value. There's entertainment value. Sometimes more than others.
It was entertainment today.
There you go.
Could have been more of an executive session.
All right.
There you go.
Someone's got to.
Brad's not.
Did I? Yeah. I get 23 as a date, 23 there, 21 here. You know what I mean? Sorry.
Being stereo. Mr. Gould, Dr. Gould, sorry. That's right.
Move to approve minutes. I don't sign.
That was a teaser.
I don't sign. I'm nobody.
You can look at, no, you're somebody.
I'm an oral reader.
And this is,
Next time I'm gonna step down and something, even if I don't have to, just so you can sign.
All right, Sharon, would you read other minutes?
Move to approve the minutes of January 9,
2019.
2019.
Can I vote on that? Second.
No, you can't.
no,
There you go.
I get to vote.
There you go. All those in favor? Aye. Okay, Jim, why don't you make the motion?
Make a motion
To adjourn? Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor? Aye. Good night.